is just like trying to reaffirm that you need to look for environments that will give you more returns more than the inflation rate of that particular environment at that particular time. So this is just showing the interest rate of different banks as at today. Um, so this is for savings app, Cowrywise and PiggyVest. For the fintech apps that we have there. So you can see that it is not enough for us to save, right? That is just the main lessons of this previous slides, right? It is not enough for us to save. We must find ways to you know invest our money, to multiply our money, to go above the inflation rates of the particular um, environment. So now let's look at active income and passive income. Now, active income is also it's also called end income. It is the income received for performing a service. Now, while passive income is income that you can earn with minimal um, effort or much participation. So this simply means for active income, you need to be active in, you know, you, you need to be active in the process of getting money, right? Why for passive income, you need little or no effort, to get money out of that system, right? So this Venn diagram shows that active income gives you portion of your time. Sorry, so for active income, you give up a portion of your time in order to make money, right? Why for passive income, it is done as a result of efforts in the past without additional time spent, right? So this one probably for the first instance it requires your efforts, but as time goes by, you do not need to be there again for you to get money out. But this one, you have to exchange your time for money. So for active income, there's an exchange in time for money. While for passive income, initially you need to put in time, but when it's done, it goes on and on and on without even your input, right? So I'm going to use this as an example to further explain. Now, this diagram shows tomato seedlings and yam sets, right? Um, Now, let's say for example, now for you to eat, let say these two are income, right? These two are incomes, right? So for you to eat a yam, you know, you need to probably walk, to buy the yam and all that stuff, right? You also need to walk to buy you know, to buy your tomato, right? So, but however, let's say after eating your yam or tomato, you take out some yam sets and maybe probably you go into your backyard that has a fertile soil, right? So your backyard has a fertile soil. You put in um, you plant your yam set or your tomato seedlings, right? Initially you need to water, cultivate, and everything, you know. But when these things start coming out, passively start coming out, you really need to no effort to to continue eating yam and tomato. So that's just the simple analogy for active and passive income. So, and the reason why I'm actually telling us this two type of income now, you will see it. I actually want to use it as a build up for something, right? Now, for financial freedom stages, right? So now we've talked about the active income and the passive income. So the how do I put it? The presence or absence of a particular type of income determine what your financial freedom is. Where you are in financial freedom stage. So this level zero is when your active income is greater than or equal to your required minimum level expense. Now, this is, for example, your rent, your rent, transportation, your utility bills. These are part of your minimum living expenses, right? So let's say your salary, which is an example of active income, is greater than or equals to minimum your minimum living expenses, you're at level zero of a financial stage. But if it's not among this, that means you're not even in the stage. So that means if your income cannot even cater for your living expenses, you know, you're not even in this stage at all. So you need to find a way to increase your income, your earning capacity to even reach the active income stage, right? So level one is actually when both your active income and your passive income is greater greater than or equals to your minimum living expense, right? So that means the summation of your active income and your passive income is greater than or is equals to your required living expense. So that means you have both salary coming in for you, and probably you have some interest rates or some return on investment, from some investment you've made way back. The summation of both is greater than or equals to. So that means you're not just relying on active income, you are relying on both, right? So the level two is when when only your passive income is what is greater than or equals to your. So that means money you're getting from investment is able to cater for your required minimum expense. That is when you're in level two of the financial freedom stage. Now, level three is when you can afford anything you want and at every time from your passive income without having to work again. So this transcends beyond your living expense, right? So your needs, your wants, your fantasies, everything can be funded by your passive income. So this is when you are in level three, right? So I want you to ask yourself, where are you in the financial freedom? What is your financial freedom status? Funke, there's this meme in online that's all these sounds meme that skit creators used to use. Funke. So I don't know if you know. So that's why I use the name Funke. Yeah, you know. So um, this is just to like let you sit down and decipher yourself what your financial freedom status is, right? Are you in level zero, level one, level two, level three? You need to start picking up your required minimum expense, your rent, your utility bills, your transportation, the data you use, things you need to survive. Pick them, calculate your monthly spend on them, times it times annual, like times 12 months, right? Look at what you earn annually. The difference between your income and your earnings, will show you where you are. You understand? Is your current income Can your current income fund your minimum expense, right? Can your current active income plus passive income fund your 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 living expense? Can only your passive income fund your living expense? And lastly, can only your passive income give you what you want, your need, and your fantasies? So it's a very, very vital point you need to actually take. Even before going into investing, right? You need to take care of savings first. Savings is actually very important because what is left from your income a- after funding your expense, you know, it's what you're going to invest. So if there's no savings, there's no investment, right? So that's why we have to establish this first before we go into savings proper. So now, we talked about um, several vehicles you can invest your money in, right? So we're talking more on the real estate aspect because that's what I'm taking, right? So I would like to, um, share with us why I think real estate is actually, the best over other investments. And this is not to say that other investments are not palatable, right? But um, in terms of uh, diversifying your portfolio, you know, you need to apportion more to one to to another, so that you can have a balanced and you can have a well diversified portfolio, right? So let's say, for example, now you want to invest in stock, real estate, cryptocurrency, to have a you want to create a diversified portfolio, right? So which of this should you apportion more money to? And in my own opinion, right, I feel it's real estate, right, because it gives you more security. You know, like it serves as a shock absorber, like to a well diversified portfolio. And these are the reasons, right? So number one, it has a low volatility and risk ratio, right? So when we say volatility, it means ability of your money to be lost in a particular investment. So so for real estate, it has a low volatility ratio because the only risk in real estate is if you do it, in a on how do I put it, supervised way, right? So probably if you buy a particular property that is not legally, legally registered, buying properties that are not, legally approved, by the government. So that's part of the risk involved, right? But once you um, once you actually identify a developing area, you identify the potentials in that back market. If it's actually a very good market, you definitely get your money back. But compared to other investment, there are several factors that leads to loss of your money, right? So for real estate, it has a low volatility and a risk ratio. It's tangible. So tangibility in this sense means that you can see, you can feel, you can touch it. So a lot of other investments are not tangible; they're abstract, right? So you can't really see them, right? So it has high returns. You can control it. Yes, you can control. For example, now let's say you have a a rental building, right? That's just probably maybe 3 bedroom duplex. If you don't want 3 bedroom duplex anymore, you can just wake up in the morning and turn it into a tenement building, right? Depending on the policies of that particular place, and get more access to rent. So that's what we mean by control. So you can control to an extent, though. So you can control your real estate investment, edge against inflation. Inflation rates. For example, now when you have a rental property, rent keeps going up even when there's inflation, right? So you as a landlord might not really see the heat during inflationary periods, right? So it serves as an edge against inflation, right? So and even in inflation, appreciation of landed properties continues to rise. So your money is not being valued in that aspect. If you're able to put it in a secured um, place, so that's what we call edge against inflation. So high demand for housing. Now, for example, now there's an high demand for housing even in Nigeria. Nigeria is a developing nation, so and there's a high deficit of housing in Nigeria. So there's currently high demand for housing, whether for commercial use or for residential use, right? Now, the last one is guaranteed capital appreciation. So this is actually mostly on landed properties. So far that there is continuous infrastructural development in that place, so far that there is influx of investment into that area, there's going to be a guaranteed capital appreciation. So these are reasons why I feel real estate is actually better than other investment. Not saying that the other investment are not better. They're actually good, right? So I know that my other faculty, my colleagues will come on board and probably try to even shed more light to this. Or I don't want to use the word debunk, but they have more expertise in that field, right? In the forex field, the cryptocurrency field, in the stock field, right? So you will come with their own, arguments too, right? But this is my own opinion. This is what I feel, or this is what I know, you know, and I've seen, right? So this is just a chart to show the comparison. It's just a chart to show comparison between real estate stocks bond, cryptocurrency, agriculture, in terms of all these parameters. Like, we discuss volatility, risks, returns, tangibility. So it's just a, chart to show, also buttressing my points in the other slide, you know, a chart to compare between, other investment, and so also, further reaffirm that it's actually um, better, not better, like not, I'm trying to use the word not better, but it actually has more hedge, over other vehicles of investment, right? So that's what to use, right? So this is just chart showing, it's showing exchange rates, exchange rates. Okay, yeah, this is just okay. These are charts showing the exchange rate of Nigeria from 20, I think 2009 to date. So this one shows the inflation rates from 2009 to date now. So this chart that is showing the price of landed properties, store commercial properties from 2009 till date. So the aim of this is just to show that even amidst harsh economic condition, so real estate tends to thrive, right? So I'm not sure if you can really see these slides, you know, but you definitely get them in your own time, and try to analyze them yourself and see what I'm saying. It's actually says that amidst harsh conditions, harsh economic conditions, real estate is resilient, and it tends to appreciate, right? Even however, there's sometimes that there was some downtime periods, but it's picks up back. You understand? So there was some downtime periods which are very infinitesimal kinda, but it picks up back. So this is just showing admits continuous increase in inflation, continuous increase in exchange rates. Real estate continues to grow from time to time. So that's just basically it. So I'm really um, using Lagos as the case study here. So Lagos is the case study here. So this is a chart showing real estate and other forms of such as in Nigeria, right? So this actually is showing you the volume of search of real estate in. So that means there's a great influx of investor over time, right? So all these charts can be taken, as your own leisure time to analyze them. So, but the summary of it is just to show us the adoption of real estate, the increase in adoption of real estate over time, right? There's a continuous rise in adoption of real estate, even in Nigerian real estate market. So now we've established why real estate is actually a very easy, better vehicle, right? When you want to increase your money, you want to preserve your wealth, right, from depreciation, devaluation, and inflation, right? So, what real estate is? This is just a simple example, definition of real estate. Rather, definition. It says real estate is considered real property that includes land and anything permanently attached to it or built on it. So whether natural or man-made, right? So landed property, buildings, are referred to as real estate. So trees also, mountains, hills, because it says here that whether natural or man-made, right? So trees, mountains, they are also, referred to as real estate, right? So these are type of real estate we have. We have residential, we have industrial, we have commercial. So for residential, it's just zone for living, right? So people are you just buildings, apartments and condominiums, right? Um, terraces, duplexes. These are residential real estate, and it's just for living, solely living, right? So buy to bu- building to live in, right? Buying plot of land, you build houses, you build to solely live in. That's just the sole purpose of residential real estate. It's just for you to live in, right? For industrial, these are they are manufacturing buildings, right? Which are used for production, storage, and distribution of goods, right? So here we look at the warehouses and the factories, right? They're referred to as industrial real estate. So for commercial real estate, you know, these are buildings or land, right? So examples include office spaces, restaurants, outlets, healthcare, franchises, tourism centers. These are all forms of commercial real estate, right? It's just for them to generate rental income or capital gain. So people rent out office spaces to companies and corporations. Healthcare people build healthcare facilities and rent the space out to doctors that are looking to um come into have their own facilities and build their own name, right? Tourism, uh, these are all forms of commercial. So the sole aim of commercial activity of commercial real estate is to have capital gain on them and a rental income, right? So there are some residential buildings that can be classified or categorized as commercial real estate, right? When you build to to rent out to people, to get rental income, it can be referred to as commercial. So whether long term rent or short term rent, right? So long term rent is paid annually, while for short term rent, short let that are for nights, like yeah, they are paid per night. You know, I'm not sure if you are familiar with shortlet, right? But I think it's a widespread trend now. So I think everybody should be familiar with it. You go to rent per night and not per annum, like the conventional method of renting, right? So these are the common classifications of real estate, right? So there's another classification of real estate which are called REITs, right? So REITs are synonymous to like real estate. They're also called real estate stocks, right? Stocks are actually traded on the exchange platform. So this is actually same for real estate, right? So they are companies or real estate investment trusts that owns and operates income producing assets, right, or related assets. So that's what they do. They own assets, they manage assets, for either rental purpose or appreciation purpose, right? So they sell rates to people outside, and they invest in them. So the money being invested is used to um, buy assets and manage them for profit, right? So they are sold in form of stock like, right? So instead of you buying them, buying a land in a whole as in an asset in a whole, you buy in a stock like method, right? And a very good of this rate is that for this one, you tend to invest in multiple locations in a single package. So a rate can contain probably buildings that are located in Abuja, Lagos, Port Harcourt, Enugu, all in the same package. So your returns are actually coming from all these locations all together. Do you understand? So that's one of the advantage of doing rates. Secondly, benefit of direct ownership without having to own your property or deal with headaches of management. So management and ownership of property is cancelled in rates, right? All you just concerned is with you are um concerned with what they call it, um collecting money rather, right? Sorry, I was distracted, right? Just excuse me. Let me try and you know tell them I'm in a meeting because it's distracting me. Bro, sorry about this. Sorry about that. You know, distraction, right? So where are we, right? So these are factors affecting growth in the real estate sector. Income, the income actually means the ability to purchase property. So it's simply it can also be referred to as purchasing power, right? So when there's purchasing power, um, you know the ability to own property, becomes more easier, right? So other includes migration patterns. That is, when there is a movement between one place to another, um, it actually affects real estate growth, right? Either positively or negatively, right? So growth in population has a positive effect on real estate, because demand keeps increasing and value keeps increasing, right? So once the economy is also good, um, the sector, real estate sector, actually enjoys the benefit too. So interest rate is actually, when there is lower interest rate for borrowing, people can borrow and get lower interest rates, right? They tend to borrow more and finance more real estate projects, and you know, also leads to an increase in real estate projects. So policies of government can either mar or make a sector real estate, right? So employment opportunity is also a factor that affects, right? The more employed people are, the more income they get, and the more properties they can buy, or the more they can invest in real estate sectors. So these are a few of the factors that that affect growth in real estate, right? So for global real estate, this is just small statistics, showing the rise, in global real estate, right? So this is just showing the increase in, just showing that for the vehicle real estate is continually growing, right? It's continually growing. However, there might be a period of little decline, but it's continuously going. So this is just some statistics for you to to confirm that, right? So it also shows us the top 10 countries, that the top 10 real estate markets globally, right? So which we have China topping, UK the second, Japan third, sorry, US the second, Japan is third, the UK is fourth, Indian fifth, Germany sixth, Brazil seventh, France seventh, sorry, Brazil eight, Italy nine, then Russia 10. So it's just showing us the top 10 global markets uh, in the real estate space, right? So this is just statistics. You can look at them as your, so just statistics rather. You can look at them as your leisure. So this is the biggest house in the world. These are the features. So this is just to show you that the real estate is actually a big thing globally, right? So this is Istana Nurul Imam Palace, right? Which is the biggest house in the world. So if you can see the features it has, 2.1 million square feet area. Sorry, 2.15 million square feet. That is actually very huge, right? You know, um, it has 1,788 rooms, 357 bedrooms. It has a banquet hall that can occupy 5,000 guests. That's a mosque that can accommodate, 1,500 people. So this is just, showing us the acceptance of real estate worldwide, right? So this is the world richest real estate entrepreneur, Li Kanxing, right? It's from China actually. It's from China.